suspense as agents prepared to go to the White House to interrogate National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn, telling him that he didn't need a lawyer, not to worry about that. They had written on Bill Presap, who was head of counterintelligence at the FBI, wrote this on a piece of paper. What is our goal? Truth, admission, or to get him to lie so we can prosecute him and get him fired? Question mark. Lawyers and former agents are coming to the defense of the Bureau, including the lawyer for the Ukraine whistleblower, saying this, quote, the FBI notes reveal consideration of routine law enforcement interview tactics and by no means undercut General Flynn's prior admissions of lying to the FBI, a felony, and accepting full responsibility for his actions. To which Kim Strassel at the Wall Street Journal fired back, as for liberal commentators, legal scholars saying that all of this is routine, well, let's sure as hell hope not. The FBI exists to investigate crimes, not create them. That from Kim Strassel at the Journal. Here now, Trey Gowdy, Fox News contributor and former chairman of the House Oversight Committee. Trey, welcome. Good to have you here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
What do you think? Were the notes and was the investigation of General Michael Flynn at the White House routine for the FBI and for the agents who carried it out?
I hope not, Martha. And if it is routine, then why didn't they apply the same standard to Hillary Clinton that they did to Michael Flynn? I mean, if you go back, so Flynn's under investigation in the summer of 2016, a counterintelligence investigation. The FBI found nothing. They didn't find an insufficient amount of evidence. They found no evidence. And they're about to close this investigation, and then he has the conversation with Kislyak. So Comey decides to send Bureau agents to the White House. Why? I mean, that's the fundamental question. Were you investigating a crime, the Logan Act, which there's never been a prosecution under that act, or were you conducting a counterintelligence investigation? If it's a criminal interview, then why did you treat him so differently from the way you did Hillary Clinton? Remember, Martha, she had a medium-sized law firm in the room with her. They gave the questions to her lawyers before they interviewed her, and they most assuredly told her there's a consequence for lying, none of which they did for Michael Flynn.
So I spoke with KT McFarland last night, who was his deputy, General Flynn's deputy, and she says, that it really, beyond Flynn, they were hoping that if they pressed him hard enough and put him in a tough enough position and held some of his earlier comments against what he said there, that he would flip on President Trump, that he would give up some goods on the president. Do you agree?
Well, I do for this reason. There's also a notation in these documents released this week to use that defensive briefing as a pretense, as a ruse. So everyone that's offered a defensive briefing by the FBI, keep that in mind. They may be interviewing you. Remember, Comey did the same thing with Trump. He gave this defensive briefing on the dossier, but he was really interviewing him. They still thought Donald Trump was colluding with Russia when they went to interview with Michael Flynn. So I have every expectation they wanted to flip Flynn on the president. The problem was no one with the campaign was colluding with Russia. It wasn't Flynn, it wasn't Trump, it wasn't Papadopoulos. They were wrong about all four of their crossfire hurricane targets.
Right. So how come when we heard from Robert Mueller and the investigation, 2 years and millions of dollars was finished and we got the report, where were these notes that we're seeing now?
They were not turned over. They have to be turned over if you're going to trial. There's a little bit of a debate about it, but I think most people will tell you Brady does not implicate guilty pleas. So when Michael Flynn said, I'm going to plead, they didn't have to turn over the notes. But Martha, this is not the department of let's see if we can get away with it. And it's not the department of let's see who we can get fired. It is the Department of Justice. Sally Yates, who is hardly a Republican, was infuriated when she found out what Comey had done. So that's the Department of Justice. We don't care if you're an R or D. We don't care whether we like you or we don't. We're going to treat you the same. Mueller's folks did not turn over these documents because they didn't think they had to.
Yeah. With regard to the Durham investigation, because all of this happens with that as a backdrop now. And the reason that we're seeing these documents and that they were released is because of a subsequent investigation or review of the Michael Flynn situation that was spurred on by the Attorney General, Bill Barr, and the Missouri attorney. So what does this tell us about what is coming? Because we're also told that Barr and Durham are in pretty regular discussion about the Durham investigation.
Yeah, I think the Attorney General and U.S. Attorney Durham are both very interested in how this whole sordid affair began. So the 4 targets, let's just go with Flynn. All right, you're going to put a general under counterintelligence investigation by the world's premier law enforcement agency. Why? What is the factual predicate where you think you have the power to put him under counterintelligence investigation for being an agent of Russia? What was it? I mean, did he read a Chekhov novel? Did he watch Dr. Zhivago? Why did you put Michael Flynn under counterintelligence investigation? I think that's what Durham and Barr are getting at, is none of these investigations were sufficiently factually predicated. And if that's true, then you're going to see a clamping down on the power that we've given the FBI, and it's about damn time.
Do you think we'll see prosecutions?
No, ma'am. No, I was talking to a federal prosecutor on the way over here, but we have got to not only associate accountability with prosecutions. I think being a terrible FBI agent and treating people unfairly, maybe it ought to be a crime, but I don't think it is a crime. What the takeaway is, the next time the FBI says, hey, we'd like to talk, tell them no. Say, when you clean up your act, when you quit trying to get people fired and see what you can get away with, we'll start treating you like a dispassionate law enforcement agency. But until then, no thanks, we're done talking with you.
Trey Gowdy, always good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Yes, ma'am, you too.